All right, so ready to dive into the world of fish trimming. You've got an interview coming up. Well, we're going to break down this unique career path with insights from RoleCatcher's Career Guide, and we've got some practice interview questions to help you really make a splash.
Yeah, it's definitely more than just, slicing and dicing fish. A fish trimmer plays a really important role in the whole seafood industry.
Okay.
We're talking about the quality, the safety of the fish that ends up, on everyone's plates.
Okay, let's unpack this a little bit. What does a fish trimmer actually do?
So think of it as like an artist meets a technician, right? You're trimming
Oh,
fins, removing organs, cleaning thoroughly, and even packaging for distribution.
wow.
RoleCatcher highlights that it's a hands-on job, requires precision speed, and a strong stomach.
Yeah, not for the faint of heart.
Right.
Speaking of challenges, let's dive into a question you might encounter in an interview. How do you ensure the fish you trim is of the highest quality? What's the interviewer really looking for here?
Yeah, they want to see that you understand quality control. It's not just about speed, it's about knowing what to look for when you're actually, doing the work.
Right.
Think about those visual cues, the appearance of the scales, the clarity of the eyes, the smell. RoleCatcher mentions that, paying attention to those details is really key.
Okay, so how would you suggest someone structure their answer to that question?
Think about the process. What steps do you take from the moment you receive the fish to, the final inspection?
Okay.
Mention specific tools you use. Filleting knives, maybe even tweezers for those pesky pin bones.
Right.
And don't be afraid to get, a little technical, right?
So something like, I always start by inspecting the fish for any signs of damage or discoloration. Then, using a sharp filleting knife, I carefully remove the fins.
Exactly. And don't forget to mention how you ensure consistency in your work. Do you double check your work? Do you follow specific guidelines? The interviewer wants to see you take pride in your work.
Those are all great points. Now let's shift gears to another question. Can you describe a time you had to work under pressure to meet a deadline? I bet things can get pretty intense in a fish processing plant.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
RoleCatcher's Guide mentions that production demands can really fluctuate, especially during peak seasons. So the interviewer wants to see how you handle that pressure. Do you crack or do you thrive in that environment?
So how do you suggest tackling this question? Just tell a story about a busy day.
A story with a structure. Remember the STAR method. Situation, task, action, result. Paint a picture of the scenario. What was your responsibility? What steps did you take? And what was the outcome?
Okay, so let's say there was a sudden surge in orders, and I was responsible for prepping a large batch of fish for filleting. I could say something like, I quickly assessed the situation, prioritized tasks, and delegated some responsibilities to my colleagues. By streamlining the workflow and focusing on efficiency, we managed to meet the deadline without compromising quality.
Perfect. You've shown initiative, problem-solving skills, and teamwork, all qualities that are highly valued in this role. Now, let's say the interviewer follows up with, how did you prioritize those tasks?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right.
It's about showing you can think critically under pressure.
Exactly. You could mention things like assessing the urgency of each order, the complexity of the task, and the skills of your team members.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. Let's move on to a question that might make some people sweat. Have you ever trained or mentored other fish trimmers? Now, let's say I haven't had a formal training role. Can I still answer this question effectively?
Absolutely. Think about times when you've helped colleagues, even informally. Maybe you showed a new employee how to properly sharpen a filleting knife or gave them tips on identifying quality issues. RoleCatcher's Guide emphasizes the importance of teamwork and knowledge sharing.
So it's about showcasing those moments where you took the initiative to guide others.
Exactly.
Cool.
Focus on how your actions positively impacted the team or individual's performance. Did they become more efficient? Did the quality of their work improve? Those are the details that matter.
Okay, great. Now, let's say you do have formal training experience. How do you really make that shine?
Talk about your methodology, the specific skills you taught, and the results you achieved. Did you develop a training manual? Implement a new onboarding process? Quantify your achievements whenever possible.
So instead of just saying, I train new employees, I could say something like, I developed and implemented a new training program for fish trimmers, which resulted in a 15% increase in efficiency and a 10% reduction in waste.
Now you're talking.
Yeah.
That's how you make your accomplishments stand out. And by the way, this is where RoleCatcher's AI, Copilot, can really come in handy.
Here's where it gets really interesting. How can AI help with this?
Imagine having a tool that can analyze the specific skills mentioned in the job description and then suggest how to tailor your answer to highlight those skills. That's exactly what Copilot does.
So it's not just about giving you generic advice. It's about helping you create the most impactful response for that particular role.
Exactly. And it doesn't stop there. Copilot can even provide feedback on your answers, helping you refine your delivery and ensure you're hitting all the right notes.
Wow, now let's tackle a question that can be a little tricky. How do you handle difficult or challenging customers? This seems especially relevant when dealing with, specific requests or concerns about their seafood.
You're right. RoleCatcher's Guide highlights the importance of customer satisfaction, right?
Right.
The interviewer wants to know you can remain professional and composed even when faced with a grumpy customer.
Okay, so what's the key here?
Yeah.
Just say you're a people person.
It's about showcasing your problem-solving skills and empathy. Talk about how you actively listen, try to understand their perspective, and communicate clearly and calmly.
So instead of getting defensive, you want to demonstrate your willingness to find a solution that satisfies both the customer and the company.
Exactly. And a brief anecdote can be powerful. Share a time you successfully resolved a customer issue, highlighting your patience and diplomacy.
Okay, let's say a customer was unhappy with the quality of their fish. I could say something like, I listened attentively to their concerns, apologized for the inconvenience, and offered to replace the fish or provide a refund. I made sure they felt heard and valued, even though the situation was challenging.
Perfect. You've shown empathy, problem-solving skills, and a commitment to customer satisfaction. And again, Copilot can help you tailor this anecdote to the specific values and expectations mentioned in the job description.
That's really impressive. It's like having a personal interview coach in your pocket.
Now let's move on to a question that allows you to showcase your passion.
You got it. Let's dive into the next question. All right, so this next question is going to give you a chance to show off your passion for the field. What inspired you to become a fish trimmer?
Yeah, it's more than just a job, right? It's part of that process of getting food, to our tables. What kind of things might impress the interviewer here? Well, honesty and genuine enthusiasm, they go a long way. You can talk about your interest in, the fishing industry, your fascination with seafood, or even your appreciation for the actual art of fish trimming itself.
Right.
RoleCatcher's Guide actually mentions that a lot of fish trimmers have a deep respect for the skill and the precision involved.
Yeah, I can see that. It's almost like sculpting, but with seafood.
Yeah.
What if someone grew up fishing with their family or has that strong connection to the ocean?
Those are really good points to bring up. It shows that natural affinity, for the work. And don't forget to mention your career goals. How does this role fit into your bigger aspirations? Do you see yourself, moving up in the seafood industry?
Okay, so let them see that you're not just looking for a paycheck. You're looking to build a career.
Right.
I like it.
Dang.
Okay, moving on to question number 6. How do you ensure you meet production quotas while maintaining quality standards? Sounds like they want someone who's fast and meticulous.
Exactly. This is where your efficiency and time management skills really come into play. RoleCatcher's Career Guide emphasizes that balance between speed and precision. They even have some tips on efficient trimming techniques in there.
Ooh, tell me more about those techniques. What kind of things should someone mention in their answer?
Well, think about strategies for staying organized and minimizing, any wasted movement. Do you have a specific way you prep your workstation or a mental checklist you go through for each fish? Maybe you've even developed your own technique for removing pin bones really quickly and effectively.
So instead of just saying, I work quickly, I could say something like, I've developed a system for organizing my tools and fish, which allows me to trim efficiently while maintaining a high level of accuracy.
Now you're talking. And don't forget to mention that commitment to quality control even when you're working under pressure. Do you double check your work? Do you follow those specific guidelines? Those details show that you're really dedicated to, delivering a top-notch product.
And I imagine those details can really set someone apart from other candidates. Okay, let's tackle a question that focuses on specific experience. Have you worked with any specific types of fish before? Now, what if the job description doesn't mention specific species? Should I still be prepared to talk about my experience?
Absolutely. This is your chance to really showcase that you have hands-on knowledge.
Okay.
Think back to your previous roles or any training you've had. What types of fish did you primarily work with? Did you specialize in filleting salmon? Maybe you have experience with more exotic species or, shellfish.
So whatever your experience, being specific is key here. So instead of just saying, I've worked with a variety of fish, I should say something like, in my previous role at a salmon processing plant, I specialized in filleting and removing pin bones. I became quite proficient in using a filleting knife to ensure a clean, boneless fillet.
Perfect. That shows you not only have the experience, but you understand the nuances of working with different fish. And if you've encountered any challenges with certain species, don't be afraid to mention those too. It shows you're adaptable and willing to learn.
It also shows that you've really thought about your experiences and how they relate to the role. Okay, let's wrap up this section with a question that kind of delves into leadership skills. How do you prioritize and delegate tasks among other team members? This seems like a big one, especially for senior roles. What if someone hasn't held a formal leadership position before?
Even without a formal title, you've probably had opportunities to collaborate and coordinate with colleagues.
Right.
Think about times when you took initiative, helped to, distribute workload, or offered guidance to others. RoleCatcher's Guide really emphasizes the importance of teamwork, even for entry-level positions.
So it's about showcasing those moments where you stepped up and kind of took on a leadership role, even in a small way.
Exactly. Let's say you noticed a bottleneck in the trimming process. Did you suggest a way to streamline the workflow or redistribute tasks? Maybe you recognized a colleague was struggling with a specific fish and you offered to help them, while you tackled a task that they were more proficient in?
Those are great examples. It's about demonstrating that you can think critically about process improvement and that you're willing to help your teammates succeed. Now, what if someone does have formal leadership experience? How do they really make that shine?
This is their chance to go all in. Talk about your management style, your approach to delegation, and how you motivate and support your team. Share specific examples of successful projects where your leadership really made a difference.
So instead of just saying, I manage a team of fish trimmers, they could say something like, I implemented a new training program that reduced errors by 10% and increased employee satisfaction.
Exactly. Quantify those achievements whenever possible. Did you increase production output, improve safety standards? Those details make your accomplishments even more impressive.
It's all about showcasing your ability to lead and inspire others to achieve those common goals. And speaking of showcasing your abilities, let's circle back to RoleCatcher's AI-powered tools. How can those help with answering this specific question about leadership?
Well, Copilot can analyze that job description and identify keywords that are related to leadership, like delegation, teamwork, or motivation. Then it can suggest ways to tailor your answer to highlight those specific skills.
So it's like having a personal brand strategist,
Yeah.
Helping you craft the perfect message.
Right.
That's incredible. And it can even provide feedback on your delivery, right?
Exactly. Copilot can help you identify areas for improvement, refine your tone, and ensure you're projecting that confidence and authority.
It's like having a whole team of career coaches in your pocket.
Yeah.
Now, I believe we have just one more punt to this deep dive.
You got it. We'll be back after a quick.
All right, we're back, ready to wrap up this deep dive into prepping for a fish trimmer interview. We've covered a lot of ground today, from, those specific techniques to those all-important soft skills. And let's not forget about RoleCatcher's Copilot, that AI secret weapon for crafting the perfect answers. It's amazing how technology can, personalize that whole interview prep process these days.
Yeah, it really is a game changer. But even with all the, tools and techniques, one thing still remains crucial, and that's being authentic.
You mean not just reciting, memorized answers, but really understanding what the interviewer is looking for and how your responses can show that you're a good fit.
Exactly. It's about showcasing that genuine interest you have in the field. Remember that question. What inspired you to become a fish trimmer? That's your chance to really connect those personal motivations to the role.
So instead of just saying, I'm good with my hands, I could talk about how I've always been fascinated by the journey of, food from the ocean to our table.
Exactly. Or maybe you have a family history in the fishing industry, or you have a deep respect for the skill and precision of fish trimming. Just let that passion shine through.
It's about finding those genuine connections and expressing them in a way that resonates with the interviewer. Now let's touch on something we haven't discussed in detail: the work environment itself. RoleCatcher's Guide mentions that it can be pretty demanding.
Yeah, it's not your typical office job, that's for sure. We're talking cold temperatures, wet surfaces, and dealing with the, shall we say, aromatic nature of seafood.
Definitely not for the faint of heart. So how do you suggest addressing that during the interview? Should I just pretend it's all sunshine and roses?
Honesty is always the best policy. Acknowledge the challenges, but emphasize your ability to adapt and thrive in those more demanding environments.
Okay, so instead of shying away from the reality of the job. I could say something like, I understand that fish trimming can be physically demanding and involve working in cold, wet conditions. However, I'm a hard worker, I'm not afraid of a challenge, and I'm committed to following all safety procedures.
Exactly. By acknowledging those realities of the job, you demonstrate that realistic understanding of what you're getting into and a willingness to tackle those challenges head on.
It shows you've done your homework and you're really serious about the role. And that kind of brings us to one final point I think is crucial, and that is soft skills.
Yeah, those are often the make or break skills, especially in a fast-paced, team-oriented environment, like a seafood processing plant.
So we're talking about communication, teamwork, problem solving, adaptability, those skills that aren't always listed on a resume, but are absolutely essential on the job.
Precisely. Think about specific examples from, your past experiences where you've demonstrated these qualities. Maybe you had to resolve a conflict with a colleague or adapt to a sudden change in plans or communicate effectively with a very diverse team.
Those are great examples. It's about finding those moments where your soft skills made a real difference and then showcasing them, during the interview. And you know what? RoleCatcher's Copilot can even help with this.
Oh, tell me more. How can AI assist with soft skills?
Well, Copilot can actually analyze the job description and identify those keywords that are related to soft skills, like communication, collaboration, or problem solving, and then suggest ways to integrate those keywords into your answers, highlighting your strengths in those areas.
So it's not just about listing your soft skills on a resume, it's about, weaving them into your responses in a way that feels natural and compelling.
Exactly. It's like having a storytelling coach, helping you craft the perfect narrative. And don't forget, Copilot can also provide feedback on your delivery, so helping you project that confidence, enthusiasm, and, authenticity.
It's amazing how technology can really enhance that preparation process and give candidates a real edge.
So there you have it. We've explored, all the ins and outs of prepping for a fish trimmer interview, from understanding the job requirements to mastering those tricky questions. We even uncovered the power of, those AI tools like Copilot to really help personalize your preparation and help you shine during that interview.
Remember, preparation is key. Take the time to research the role, practice your answers, and highlight those skills and experiences in a way that really showcases your genuine interest and enthusiasm for this field.
And don't forget to be yourself. Authenticity goes a long way, and interviewers can often spot,
Yeah.
when someone's just trying to force a persona.
Well said. Be confident, be enthusiastic, and let your personality shine through.
With a little effort and the right tools, you can land that dream fish trimmer job. Good luck, and remember, you got this.